Hi everyone, you probably know that making cartoons is also an art, and the people who create this art are often way ahead of their time. Not just because they've come up with something too cool for their era, but sometimes they literally predict the future. Don't believe us? Well, you may think what you want, but we do have some evidence, and if you're ready to be surprised, then let's get it on. The Simpsons, the longest-running animated series in history, first appeared on the screens on April 19, 1987. Over the course of its existence, more than 600 episodes have been created, and they're still being made. Due to the fact that the cartoon has been shown for a long time, many viewers have noticed some similarities between what's happening in the series and the real events of our life. Moreover, the internet is full of theories that The Simpsons predicts the future. Yes, at first glance the idea sounds silly. How can the scriptwriters of an animated series have the gift of foresight? But if you look closely, it becomes clear that The Simpsons really did predict many events that occurred only a few years later. Want some proof? No problem. Season 5, Episode 10, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling. In Springfield, they create a casino to fight the decline of the economy, and among other entertainments, the Tamers, Gunter and Ernst, along with their white tiger, perform here. Apparently, this duet was a reference to Siegfried and Roy, famous entertainers who performed in Las Vegas in the 90s with white lions and tigers. Their career ended in 2003 after one of the predators attacked Roy during the show. And what do we see in The Simpsons, released in December 1993? Attack of the Tiger on the trainers during their performance. But okay, animals often do attack people they're performing with. This prediction could be called quite expected. But what about Trump? Season 11, Episode 17, Bart to the Future. The Indian predicts to Bart his future, in which Lisa becomes the President of the United States. But she has problems, because the predecessor literally destroyed the country's budget. And guess who the previous head of state was? Donald Trump.
We've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
And the episode, by the way, was made in 2000, 17 years before Trump's inauguration.
How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
And this is only a tiny part of the predictions that the series has made. In fact, this list is quite long, but among all these prophecies, there were also some football events, such as Germany's victory in the match against Brazil at the 2014 World Cup. In addition, the show mentioned that in this game, Brazil would suffer a terrible defeat.
With Germany the victor 2-0 in an unprecedented display of rectitude and stubbornness by one Homer Simpson.
I've never seen the Brazilians so depressed.
And it turned out to be true, because they lost with a crushing 7-1. If you watched the World Cup, then you must remember that match. Yes, in reality, the score was slightly different from that in the series, but here the creators had some mercy on the Brazilians. Unlike the real life, it's still hard to believe the real result, even if you are a real prophet. But this case was not the only football prediction of The Simpsons. In 1997, they made an incredible prophecy, which perhaps showed us the teams that will play in the finals of the World Cup 2018 in Russia. Season 9, Episode 5, entitled The Cartridge Family. In the World Cup final, which takes place in Springfield, two teams compete for the first place, Portugal and Mexico. Moreover, the uniform of both teams is very similar to the form of the real national teams of these countries, presented in 2018. In addition, at the very beginning of the episode, we see a Mexican player partying in a jacuzzi with girls. For many people, it would remind them of an infamous party which was arranged by the Mexican players before the beginning of the World Cup. According to rumors, more than 30 girls were invited to the party, and most likely there was a jacuzzi there too. Coincidence? But unfortunately, this series doesn't make it clear who the winner is, because the game is so boring that everyone starts to fight with each other, destroying everything around in the process. And now let's look at what's happening in real life. The question is, can these teams actually meet in the finals? According to many experts, Portugal has many chances to pass on to the final, because the same team beat several powerful European teams at Euro 2016 and won the cup. In addition, Portugal has already shown an excellent game at this year's World Cup. playing their first match with a score of 3-3 against Spain, and defeating Morocco in the second match with a score of 1-0. These results showed that the Portuguese can pass without problems. On the other hand, there's Mexico. Nobody expected anything special from Mexico, so everyone was amazed when they beat one of the strongest teams in the world and the current champion, Germany, and not pulling off an upset win, but with a decent score of 1-0. This result can also ensure the exit of Mexico from the group, because the other two teams aren't so strong. Of course, there are still many games ahead, and it's still difficult to make an accurate forecast, but under certain circumstances, it may very well be that Mexico and Portugal will be in the final of the 2018 World Cup.
This match will determine once and for all which nation is the greatest on earth, Mexico or Portugal.
When the final comes, write in the comments whether this prediction turned out to be true. Let's see if the sidekicks that created The Simpsons were right this time. However, sometimes predictions work, let's say, a little differently. A lot of stuff created today appeared only because their creators were inspired by some movie and very much wanted to live out a dream. Well, you know how it happens. You watch a series, for example, Quantum Leap, and suddenly you think, hey, why don't I make the same laser-guided billiard like the one on the screen? That'd be freaking cool. Although, unlike the movie where the billiard was used for playing, the one created by the Portuguese company Pool Live Aid is used for training. But the principle's still the same. We hope that interactive modern billiards won't fail at the most inopportune moments, as it does happen in the series. And what about unmanned vehicles, which there has been so much fuss about lately?
Oh no, stop, let me out. No, excuse me, please. That's not good. No, please.
Of course, the idea that the car will take you to wherever you say without a driver appeared in many films, from science fiction to family comedies. So let's choose something. For example, Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember the eerie robot taxi driver who drove Arnie? Well, quite an unmanned taxi. And self-propelled cars from Google or Tesla work in much the same way, only they don't look like props from the Chamber of Horrors. But the absolute champion for ideas of ingenious inventions is the movie Back to the Future. Cool Nike self-lacing sneakers. Like those of Marty McFly, they already exist, friends. Although it's a limited edition, so you can only buy them for a lot of money. They not only glow in the dark, but they can also fasten the shoelaces by themselves, and almost with the same sound as in the movie. People say even Michael J. Fox found them cool, but you know, they're still not as cool as a hoverboard. Today, many people are trying to make the flying board from Back to the Future too, from large companies to self-taught scientists, assembling devices from wires, batteries, and a toaster. Unfortunately, nowadays, hoverboards are quite heavy, or too loud, or need a special surface to fly on, or everything at once. But who cares when they look so incredibly cool? For example, like this device manufactured by Lexus, which however exists only in a single copy, and isn't so easy to control compared to conventional skateboards. But you need to start somewhere, right? We're already a little behind the schedule. It's already 2018, by the way. But smart houses today are pretty great. The modern ones are even cooler than the ones shown in the movie. In any case, they don't look so cumbersome and obsolete. And virtual reality glasses look like they were stolen from the Google office and sneaked into the past to film the movie. Yeah, the colors are a bit unusual and the shape is strange, but still. By the way, don't forget about video communication, also mentioned in Back to the Future 2. Perhaps after watching this film or some other similar movie, the developers of Skype thought that it'd be nice to create something like this in reality. So, 14 years after the premiere, we had the well-known program with the letter S on the logo. But if it were not for the movie, who knows when humanity would have thought of something like this? But until now, no one has learned how to turn a small pizza into a big one. Hear that, Elon Musk? You got a lot of work to do. And even the most modern technology of 3D printing has already been found in sci-fi movies. In them, it was also successfully applied in medicine. For example, in the Starship Troopers, where a smart machine easily healed the thigh of the main character, Literally typing is new muscles. Does it look like a 3D printer? Well, of course. And while the scientists have learned to create only separate implants, which are then placed in the human body, the future is definitely somewhere near. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on Tech Zone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.